Jack the Ripper? Yeah, certainly. Let's detail his crimes. This one's going to be graphic. You've been warned. Did you know in Whitechapel, London in 1888, Jack the Ripper confirmed killed 5 people, but it could be up to 13. Let's go through the 5. Did you know that on 31st of August, Mary Ann Nichols had been found dead from her throat being cut twice? After death, her abdomen had been ripped open. Did you know that Annie Chapman was found dead on the 8th of September? Her puffy face indicated strangulation, but her throat had also been cut, her intestines removed, and part of her uterus was missing. Did you know that on the 30th of September, Elizabeth Stride was found still bleeding heavily from a cut throat? She was unable to be saved, and it looked like Jack had been interrupted before he was able to finish his work. That same night, Catherine Eddos was found laying on her back with her face mutilated. She'd been disemboweled and her left kidney and heart had been removed. Did you know that on November the 9th, Mary Jane Kelly was found in her bed? Her breasts had been cut off and placed by her feet. Her intestines had been removed. Her head was almost severed and her thighs had been skinned. Police also think he may have killed a 7-year-old boy who was found with his heart, ears and intestines removed. Facts about Fred and Rose West? Yeah, certainly. Fred and Rose West are British serial killers that met when she was 15 and he was 28. And over a 20-year span, they're responsible for killing at least 13 women and children. Fred actually started murdering before he'd even met Rose. His first victim, his partner who was pregnant with his kid. When Fred was in prison for a short while, Rose killed his 8-year-old daughter. Fred famously convinced a child once to commit murder. Fred was well known for cutting all the fingers and toes off of his victims. Police discovered a torture chamber/graveyard in their basement. When they were short of cash, Fred used to pimp out Rose and then watch through peepholes. Did you know they used to give the clothes of the women they'd killed to their children to play dress-up in? Did you know Fred got banished from his home at 20 for getting a 13-year-old pregnant? Did you know that Fred admitted to killing over 20 women and then hung himself in his cell before the trial began? Rose got found guilty of 10 murders and is serving life in prison. Dark History Part 6, yes, certainly, yeah. Wait, you said my bit. Well, let's just do Genghis Khan. Did you know he got so angry once with a noble leader called Inalchuk for spurning his offer of peace that he decided to have the entire civilian population killed and then pulled molten silver into Inalchuk's eyes and ears? Did you know a large group of Russians surrendered to him once, so he took all their weapons off, laid them under a large wooden plank, and then all the Mongols basically partied on them until they died? Did you know he once had a dispute over food with his half-brother? He didn't get the result he wanted, so he snuck up behind him and killed him with a bow. Did you know a lot of Mongols came over to join Genghis Khan after leaving another leader for being too brutal after he was observed boiling opposing generals alive in cauldrons? Did you know the city of Urgench put up the greatest resistance Genghis had ever seen, so he burned it to the ground, then diverted a dam to flood it, and then killed all the survivors? This massacre is said to be one of the worst in history, with over 1 million people losing their lives. Did you know that historians estimate that Genghis Khan was responsible for over 40 million deaths in his reign? Now that's some numbers.